Yo, what is up, guys? Shikai Shinobi here, back again with another video for you guys. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with some more content for the channel. Now, this is a little bit obviously out of what my normal stuff would be, but considering that we do talk about some gaming on this channel, I feel like, I need to put my 2 cents in there. But yeah, no, we got ourselves our Game of the Year awards. Now, me personally, I know there's a lot of mixed reviews, especially considering that we, for the first time, have gotten ourselves a DLC, being Elden Ring again, for Game of the Year. But as far as the other games, I feel like, it wasn't the worst. Didn't know what this was. I saw somebody playing it like a couple of months ago, so I was really surprised this even made it, especially since it hasn't been out that long. But I did see that it was a pretty good game. Astrobot, I'm a little bit iffy on, but I didn't hear that it was a really good game, so I'm not too fine with it. Honestly, I'm surprised that they even allowed Black Myth Wukong in, because, quite frankly, with all the discourse going around gaming and games journalists, because obviously, with what's going on right now, majority of it, or majority of the vote, would go through games journalists and, places like IGN and whatnot, versus, the actual players. In fact, I'm pretty sure with the Game of the Year, it's not even being decided by the players. It's being decided by the jury, which is mostly a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot of people who don't play games, but a lot of people are pretty not into games like we are, the players, the people who actually play the games. So I'm surprised it made it, glad it did, because this is one of the games I felt like wasn't gonna make it, just due to the fact that there was so much going against it because of games journalism and how they just didn't like this game. In fact, honestly, I thought that they were gonna try and throw in fucking Star Wars Outlaws, or honestly, I thought that for a second that they might just take this game out for freaking Dragon Age the Velgar, and that game did. I wouldn't say it did the best, but it didn't do that well. Like, it really did. I think it just recently only got into 1 million sales. But that game, especially with its dialogue and how it treated its player base, yeah, it didn't do that well. So I'm glad to not see that didn't happen. I'm glad that didn't happen. I heard that Mana 4 Ram Fantasio was a really good game. Never heard of it, but I'm glad it's there. Now, the one controversy, or the main topic of this video that I'm going to be talking about today, though, is going to be obviously Elden Ring, because obviously, even though Elden Ring is a really good game and nobody can dispute that, it is a DLC. This is a DLC. You cannot play Elden Ring Shadow of the Entry and at all if you don't have the base game. And that is, like, of course, the main thing that a lot of people are triggered about, including myself slightly. I'm not making that big of a deal, because honestly, I don't watch the Game Awards that often. In fact, I think the only Game Awards I really watched was last year's, because I wanted to see how the Genshin versus Sonic beef was going. I mean, Genshin won, so whatever, I guess. That shit was funny as hell. Glad Final Fantasy is actually here. In fact, this is actually the one I actually voted for Final Fantasy to win Game of the Year. I love Black Myth Wukong, but I want, this game was just really good, really good. No shade towards Wukong, but my main thing is that, me personally, I feel like they should have made a separate category for games like DLC, you know, that had DLC that were really, really good. They should have just made a whole separate category for it, because I can name a lot of games that could have taken the place of this instead, that are actually games. Ace being Stellar Blade. That was one of the big ones that I feel like a lot of people, and I repeat, a lot of people think should have been in there. Or, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That was another one that I felt like should have been in there. That game sold fucking millions within 24 hours. I'm pretty sure it broke the record this year. If I'm not wrong, I think it broke the record for the most game or copies sold within 24 hours of it even being there, let alone the freaking pre-orders for that game. That was nuts. And then Space Marine 2, Helldivers, and you can tell just by with all the other stuff that they did, like best art direction and game direction, that they didn't really try. They kind of just took a pool of games, in my opinion, that it's like, okay, we gotta make sure that we gotta make sure, I feel like, that this is legit enough for people to watch us, but not legit enough that it doesn't look like we're biased. That's kind of how I got this. That's how I kind of got this. That's my viewpoint on here is how they they did it. You can tell because if you go out of the voting section here, you can go into some of the categories, and something like for instance, you go down here, best action and adventure. Somehow, some way, you're telling me Star Wars Outlaws, a game that barely sold 14 copies, is better than something like Stellar Blade or Space Marine 2. Like, come on now. Come on now, bro. You're telling me the game that barely sold any copies and literally had to put out an apology to freaking the players for how bad it was got a nomination at all? For anything? Like, that's how you know. That's how you know. And especially with the jury that we got, yeah. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, yeah. And then you can even go into here and be like, oh, what we got going here? Best action game. So you're telling me, actually, I'm pretty sure, no, yes, Stellar Blade did make it in here. So I think this was one of the few ones where they actually got it right. As far as action goes, I feel like this is one of the few ones where they got it right. So, which one was it that I felt like that, they kind of robbed? Let's see. Not best fighting, not best RPG. Well, actually, best RPG, that was kind of a robbery for, what do you call it? Persona 3, in my opinion. I thought Persona 3 should have gotten in here instead of also Elden Ring. Like, once again, it's just that they should have just made a separate category. And I'm trying not to harp on it too much, but if they wanted to put DLC in here, I feel bad for all the people who were trying to get Cyberpunk's DLC to get voted, because back in 2019, Cyberpunk had the DLC and it didn't get nominated for anything. So, I don't know, Persona could have gotten in here for RPG or something, but they got snubbed out of that. But, you could tell that they kind of rushed this a little bit, because you got some pretty crappy, ones that nobody really cares about. Like, for instance, best esports game. That's obviously probably going to go to Valorant or, like, maybe League of Legends or whatnot. Best esports athlete, you already know that's going to Faker. Same with the best esports team, that's going to T1. That's just guaranteed. You already know how that's going to go, so. Let's see, what other ones I feel like that didn't need to be in here? I think that probably is it. Oh yeah, most anticipated game. This is literally just GTA 6. Like, let's be real. It's between GTA 6 and that's pretty much it. Like, I know there's some people who, kind of want to look at Metroid, or I don't know about Ghost of Yotei. There's a lot of controversy on that. And Monster Hunter Wilds is looking like it's kind of set up to be a pretty good game, but this was just a category to hype up GTA 6, because we all know that's what it is. I don't know what Death Stranding is doing in there. That game wasn't the worst in the world, but that first game, man, I don't know about that. But yeah, no, other than that, is just mostly my main thing is with Elden Ring specifically. You could have just put it in another category by itself, because I feel like there's a lot of games that could have made it in here that just got robbed out of their opportunity just due to the fact that, I don't know, I guess Geoff Keighley just loves Elden Ring, bro, and just wants GameSoft to get another one in there before they hang it up. And, the main reason a lot of people don't want that is because, let's say Elden Ring gets another DLC after that. You could just have Elden Ring getting Game of the Year every single time. Once again, Elden Ring is a really good game, but you can't play this. The main part is you can't play this without Elden Ring, the base game. You cannot. If you don't have the base game, you can't play this. Like, if you wanted to go into a GameStop and you were watching the Game Awards and somehow this won, right, and you go in there not knowing that this is not a DLC, like, let's say you're just getting into gaming and you watch your first Game Awards stream, and then you go into the GameStop, if this was to win Game of the Year, asking, where's Elden Ring Shadow of the Entry? They're going to tell you it's a DLC. They're not going to tell you it's a game. They're going to say Elden Ring is a game, and that Shadow of the Entry is a DLC that comes with it, but you have to buy it. You have to buy the base Elden Ring game. That's what they're going to tell you. They're not going to tell you, oh yeah, come get your one copy of Shadow of the Entry. They're going to tell you that you have to buy Elden Ring, and then you have to go online, and then you have to install the DLC that way. Or, get a disc or whatever, if it comes in a disc format. That's the main thing. But, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't really have too much problems with the game of the year outside of maybe a couple of categories that I feel like don't matter at all. But I mean, that's just gonna be how it goes. The game of the year, it used to be one of those things that a lot of people cared about, but mostly now it's just one of those things where people see if there's any new games, and then maybe some memes here and there. I remember there was that one guy talking about, who went on the stage. I forgot he was talking about some crap. It was some meme type nonsense. But hey, I want to know what you guys think. This is pretty much kind of a yap video, but at the same time, I just want to put my thoughts on what I thought of the game of the year. Me personally, I think it's between Black Myth Wukong and Elden Ring or Final Fantasy VII. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elden Ring won it. I really would. I really don't. Like, those guys have a really big fan base, but at the same time, considering that the vote is decided by the jury, that even makes it more so because I feel like they're just kind of throw it in there, like just to snub Black Myth Wukong, but or even Final Fantasy. But I feel like it's between those three games. Now the underdog in here is Baltoro, because considering it was made by one person. This is the underdog. If this was to win, I would be like, you know what, whatever at that point. I don't think it should win, but I feel like Astrobot, Beltaro, and like Metaphoric Fantozio, those are like the underdogs here because these are like the big three at the moment. And honestly, me personally, I swear to God, like, they could have put Space Marine 2 or Stellar Blade in here, or even Dragon Ball. Those would have been like the three that I would replace this with. Now, I don't say that Elden Ring shouldn't get any categories at all, but I don't think it should be in the Game of the Year category. That's my thing. But without further ado, Shikai Shinobi signing off. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know your comments about what you guys think should have been here, or if you think that the DLC should have been here and that it counts as a game. Let me know all your thoughts and all that in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.